Welcome to another edition of Talking Models. Today we're continuing that series from Gillman Productions from the Stephen King line of bust. If you remember last segment, we looked at the old Pennywise. Well, today we're looking at the new Pennywise. One creepy movie, this one right here. And if it isn't bad enough and creepy enough in Blu-ray, I went and got the 4K one. Oh my gosh, crystal clear colors. Creepy. Check it out, it's a good movie, and I'm very excited about the next one when it comes out, when they take the kids when they're older. I'm really looking forward to that film. But today, we're going to talk about this beautiful kit from Gillman Productions of Pennywise, the clown, from the new film, It. I'm going to spin this around a little bit so you can kind of take a look at it. Another beautiful sculpt by Mark Van Tine. Mark, you just keep... I guess we're going to have to make the baseball parks bigger, dude, because you just keep knocking them out. It's just becoming too easy. You just keep hitting the bleachers, 400 feet, 500 feet, 600 feet. Now it's in the water. It's out there in the lake. Man, boom. You're doing it, man. Let's take a look. You get the Pennywise, you get the base. I just love this base. Simple, but man, effective. Simple's really not the right word, but simply small, but packed with detail. Let's take a look at it. You've got, of course, it on the front. You have the sewer pipes. You have some dirt around here, and you have a skull in the front. You come around the back here, and the brick wall continues. You have a tennis shoe from one of Pennywise's victims. You have that sewer pipe continues around, and the brick just keeps coming around. Just a beautiful flow. I just can't speak enough about this line of busts from Gillman Productions. Stephen King's one of my favorite horror authors. Love his films, from the books. And it's just a sight to behold, this kit. Compact in size, but just boom, with sculpt and amazing, capturing everything in it. So, then of course you got the clown on top, and we're going to talk a little bit today about what we did with this one. So with the base, I always start with the base. For me, it dictates what I'm going to do next. Let me explain that. For me, when I do a model kit, I start with a base, and I do that color, and I get it to the way I want it. Now, it helps me decide what I'm going to do with the figure, the walls, whatever it is that comes off a base. In this case, it's just the figure. So I don't want this to overpower this. I want this to be the center point, the bust, but I also want the eye to catch the base. Does that make sense? And that's what I try to do. Certain things on a base you want to try to pop. Like this one, for me, it's the word it. So of course with that, you make it what? A little bit brighter. And that's what I did with this. So you have the simplicity of the base. You bring out the shoe a little more, go a little bit heavier. So you draw attention to that. But it doesn't overpower you. At first glance, you might just kind of look around and say, oh wait, is that a shoe? Oh, that's kind of cool. Then you turn around and say, oh, look, there's a skull. Before you know it, you're just kind of looking around it, and that's a compliment to you as an artist, because it's in there, but it's not overpowering, but yet it pops, and people enjoy it. That's what we're trying to do. So with the base, what I did is over black. This one was pretty straightforward. Just rich brown over all the ground area of this kit. Then I came in with some transparent dark brown, kind of toned it down a little bit, hit all the little spaces in the ground, all the folds around the areas here, bottom of the sewer pipe, around the skull, just kind of follow it all the way around. And after I did that, I came in, of course, with transparent black, and I just toned the whole base rock area down. That way you still see the reds, There's some browns, yet there's some blacks. But yet it all just kind of blends. And that's what I was trying to do with this one. Then I just simply come in with the airbrush again and just hit tops of the areas with rich brown so it kind of stands out a little bit. You could also dry brush it. You know, why turn a compressor on, right? That's the beauty of having so many things in your toolbox. You can dry brush, you can straight up brush, you can airbrush, you can do washes with an airbrush thanks to transparent paints, iridescent paints, all the different things they have now, satin. Man, the sky's the limit for us today, man. What a world, we're living the dream in a hobby we love. So remember that, just kind of blend it all together, whatever colors you choose. Rocks were straight up neutral gray over all the stones. And then I came in with transparent raw umber to give it a little bit of a brownish, dirty look to it, if you will. And I kind of just hit around the corners of each rocks, as you can see here, leaving the center with that gray. So it kind of pops, and then you have the dirtiness of the transparent raw umber on all the other areas of the rock. Then I would come in with transparent black, just mist the whole thing, you know, just to kind of tie it together. And a thing I like to do with the transparent black is just come in and hit all the cracks in between the stones, just to kind of give it some depth and look like it's, you know, like when you go see a bunch of rocks, there's space in between each rock, and you have to try to replicate that in 3D in this model kit. So I hit heavier with that all around the rock areas. Then you just simply come back in with your original color and the airbrush and just kind of mist the centers of each rock, just so you see that separation. And it kind of gives you a nice touch. Since we're back here on one of the guy's shoes back here, over the black, I just airbrushed some tans and yellows over it, higher in some areas on the strings of the shoes, and then just misted it with some transparent black, so it kind of just blends in with everything else. That's what I was trying to explain before. If I didn't do it well, maybe this helps to see what I'm trying to say. And you just mist it in that way, it kind of blends in with the whole piece. On the pipes, I enlisted the good old trusty red oxide, a great color for a rust look, especially over black. And you can see what it does. Just go a little bit heavier, get closer, make it brighter, bring in your transparent black, tone it back down, and it just gives you that dirty look. Now on the background here for behind the word it, that was rich brown over the black. I just take that and airbrush it in. You know, you can go as heavy as you want, but I like to build it up, build the colors up. You know, get a little heavier in some areas, maybe around the words, up at the top, because you're going to tone it down with transparent black, so if you get too crazy, bring it down. Start over again. It's only paint. And then for the letters itself, again, I love that Badger Freak Flex Sunburned Red, and I just simply brushed it on, and it just gives you that nice boom in the base. That's the only thing I wanted to pop at the base was the word it, and that's why I did it that way. Then, of course, when I had that done, it was just a misting of the transparent black to kind of bring the letters down, but yet let them still be there. So basically, you just want to do like a 1, 2, 3. 3 passes. Some instances, maybe it's only 2. If you're trying to do something like the rocks, sometimes I'll just get back about this far, and I just kind of maybe go 3, 4 times, just enough to blend the whole area in, but not lose your detail. Now, for good old Pennywise himself, again, you get the ruffles, just like in the episode before we had the old Pennywise. You get the ruffles on this. You know, ruffles have ridges, right? So does these. So with this, again, this was fun. I just came in with the airbrush and just had a good time. Straight up white airbrushed here. As you can see, I wanted this area to stand out a little bit. Did some grays in here, all around these ruffles. If you go around the back, you got to watch because the white continues. The grays here, all the way around in the ruffles. And again, transparent black was used to shade this. I went a little bit heavier on the trans black because I wanted just a dirty, different look. And that's why I went a little bit heavier on the bottom half here And on these, I did my normal, just shading in all the folds. Then I came back in on this one with iridescent blue. And what I did is just misted it over this area here. So you got a gray, bluish, black, creepy look. And that's how that was accomplished. And I was really happy with that. The iridescents are a great paint to fool around with, experiment with, have fun with. They really are a lot of fun. And I have to thank Saul Alvarez for that, because he turned me on to those when I did my Samara. And it's just amazing. I used that same iridescent blue on my Thing from Another World Big Head from Earthbound Studios, but I used a different technique on that. We'll discuss that when I do a video on that down the road. So lots of things you can use with it. This, I basically missed it, because if you get too close with it, it really is stark blue. You just want to change the hue of the paint some and give it a different style look and a little bit of blue. And that's what was done here. Now with all the other ruffles here, basically were stone gray, not the neutral gray. It's a little bit different. I think it might have even be called graveyard gray. Airbrushed in, went around each one, just a real boom, boom, boom. You just keep going until you get done with the whole thing. Go a little bit heavier in some areas. Some you can see in the front. I went heavier in some of the areas because I wanted it to pop, but then I lightened up as I go around. You boom them in the front, blend it in. Come back in with the transparent black. You're probably already saying that. Did all the folds, misting all the way around all the ruffles, and that's all I did with that. Up here I used a yellow tan for the top truffles all the way around him, and just again, same technique with the airbrush, just do each one at a time. Heavier in the front, blended it all the way around. Transparent black brings it back down, and just gives you a, I don't know, stark look, but it shows all the detail too in it. And that's basically his coat. Straight up red was airbrushed dark red for his little ball there. And that's the body, believe it or not. All just straight up black here. When my original base coat of black, I just left there because the whole thing I base coat in black to start and build my colors over. I just left that on. But the thing I like doing with that black too when I'm done is I come over with the trans black and I just spray the whole area over the regular black. And it just, I don't know, it just gives it a nice smooth look. Just something different. And I'm always trying different things. And that's how I do that. Now, of course, on his head, over the black, was just an airbrushing of white all over his face. And you want to come in with that transparent Payne's gray and do all your shadowing with it up here in the damaged area of his head that you see in the film. And I just kind of lightly went over in here, all his folds, around his eyes area. Just everywhere there's a fold in his skin, use your transparent Payne's gray and fill it. Really, that's what you're doing. Trans black was used mist over the face so the white wasn't too stark. Also above his eyes. Hit a little bit deeper in some of the pockets here with the transparent black. And you can see just as you go around, like in here where his mouth, that part here, I just wanted to punch that in with the dark transparent black. Then of course come back in with your original white, and I just wanted to accent these areas. You can see the different areas that I hit as highlights, usually top of the nose, forehead, above the eyes, cheekbones, chin, just like you would see on your face. And I just kept going back and forth till I got what I wanted. And that's really all I did with his face. Straight up hand brushed the tip of his nose, his lips. You can see I used two different colors. This up here was the Sunburn Red from the Badger Freak Flex. This here was Ripper Red from the Badger Freak Flex. And then I used the straight up Sunburn for all his little paint designs that he had on his face. Those you do have to hand brush in. They're not sculpting in, and you can't blame them. You get a real fine brush, look at reference photos, and draw your line. Go real light. Just take your brush, look at the photo, make your first line. Once you have it, come back in a little thicker, and you can just build your lines up. And that's what I did. And I wanted them to stand out, so I used the sunburn red. And I just did the lines like you see in the film. It goes under his eye, and just follow it. Just look at it and line it up. If you mess up a little bit, just come back with your airbrush or a hand brush and just lightly dry brush the areas with the white, and it works. And that's all I did with the designs on his face. A little heavier on the trans black below his eyes. You want to give him that sinister, distressed look. That's what I did on both eyes. And then you come in with the your hand brush, choose your eye color, do your circles, start with your black, just do a round circle. I usually just get the placement of where it is in the eye. I take my brush, fine brush, and I just kind of draw the circle, and then I fill it in. And that's basically how I do the eyes. Then you can come in with your pastel, like I described in the previous old Pennywise. Take a pastel and you just soften the edges, so it kind of just softens the eye up, if you will. Come in with whatever eye color you choose. This one I chose green, light green, similar to what I used on the old Pennywise. You just paint it in. You want to leave a slight outline of the black so it separates. Just paint it in and you'll see just, real fine line. Look at your eye, and that's be a good guide. Then you come in with your pupil, different ways. Again, the toothpick technique, dipping the toothpick in black paint, pop it in the center, perfect circle. Or you put the Pee Wee Herman magnifying glasses on and you hold it in your hand, take a deep breath, draw on your circle. And that's what I did in these. I just used a hand brush and I just painted them in. And you want to get a nice brush. Don't get a real long, like a zero, because they're long and they're flexy, and when you go to push in, they fold, and then you got a lizard eye, and that's not what you're trying to do. So you just get a nice round brush, not too big. Just get a nice round brush, dip it in your paint so there's, decent right on the tip. And just go in there, find your spot, hit it in the center, and just kind of eye roll it, and then gives you your pupil. Come back in once it's dry with your black pastel, soften the pupil, and boom, you did it. That's all I do, and it works every time. Of course, when you get on the bigger heads, Jeff Camp gave me a trick a long time ago. Haven't used it yet though, because I always like the challenge of trying to draw the eye. But on those, you can get just like a washer, put it in the center of the eye, draw your pencil around it, perfect circle, paint it in, go to town. That works too. If you've seen Jeff Camp's work, it works. And that's what I did with his eyes. And then it's just basically coming back in and, just working back in the folds of the skin, hitting the highlights until you get what you like. Teeth were again straight up Rotten Tooth Tan from Badger Freak Flex paint. And just dirty it up with some washes of your choice. I always like to use raw umber transparent, and sometimes dark brown transparent. And you just kind of use it in. You can take it in a brush. I just usually spray it in a little container, take my brush. Sometimes I pull out my Badger Chrome, great detail brush, or my Sculptor 2020, and I just airbrush the total area with the transparent, and then come back in and dry brush the teeth back in. It's really up to you. So many different techniques. And then, of course, that's the end of it. The hair was straight up orange. I airbrushed the orange on there. I used a combination of Badger Freak Flex Autopsy Orange and some of the orange from Garage US Colors. Just went back and forth with them. Little brighter orange. I would hit all the top areas, the top of his hair, along the top here. You can also dry brush it. Obviously it's a dry brusher's dream. And I did a little bit of dry brushing just up here in the tops. Then I toned the whole thing down with transparent black, hit some of the folds, punched in some of the folds with the trans black, and actually used a little bit of raw umber too, a misting of that over the whole hair piece just to bring it all down. And that is Pennywise from the new film It. Beautifully done. Mark is just a master at these things. And it is available. And you can contact Mark or Paul. I'll have their Facebook page on here. They hit you back quick. They ship it quick. And the castings, boom. They're always amazing. You get them, you clean them up, maybe a couple little things here and there. Wash them up, prime them. Paint's flying everywhere, wherever you do your painting. Before you know it, it's on your shelf, and people are going, whoa, where'd that come from? You say, Gillman Productions, man. And then they order one too. Or maybe you paint one for them, and you start funding your hobby. You start getting money to do other things that you want to do with your hobby. And you bless someone else with your talent. Isn't that awesome? And that's what I do now. I do for some clients out of California and get requests all the time, and I never want to lose touch of why I do this. And that's for my enjoyment too. It's a gift God gave me to paint model kits. I survived a horrible motorcycle accident 2 years ago and never thought I was going to be doing any of this anymore. And here I am again painting. God is good. And again, I said it in the last video, and I'm going to say it here. Hopefully when this one comes out, I'll be at my 100. Boom, right? I'm trying to get 100 subscribers. The last filming of the first Pennywise, I was at 60. It's only 40 of you guys, man. Hit me up. Help me out. I would appreciate it. So thanks for stopping in today and checking out Talking Models with Troy Nayert. And we hope to see you on our next edition of Talking Models. So have a great day. Keep the paint flying. Enjoy the hobby. It is a gift. And may God bless your day.